Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This article that I picked for this video is, I think, funny and serious. It depends how you look at it. And it is about Rasputin, the monk, the Russian monk, and Prigozhin, the boss of the Wagner private military contractor or mercenary group, however you want to call it. And it's very interesting because these guys are trying to make a resemblance between Rasputin and similarities between Rasputin and Prigozhin. And Prigozhin gives a very intelligent but also eerie answer to that. But it's funny in a certain way that every time I hear people talking about Rasputin here in the West, when I speak with them, they give me the kind of certain kind of movie romanticized evil side of Rasputin. When you speak with the Russians, the people who know something about Rasputin or heard about him, they know a different side of Rasputin. They know that one that is overemphasized here, but they look at Rasputin as a holy man involved in certain kind of problems that drinking and all that, and politics. And he was assassinated again with, from what I know, with outside influence again. Anyway, so that reminds me of my inspiration, as I would say, lifetime inspiration, which is Vlad the Impaler, so-called Dracula here. Well, I admired Vlad since I was a boy, a little boy. So the same. If you speak with people here, they think that he was just a bloodthirsty, crazy, cruel vampire or whatever, evil man. For us in Romania, we look at, because we know more, I gotta tell you that, because we read more about this guy, is totally different. He was a just and courageous, intelligent ruler. But anyway, was he cruel? Yeah, but he remember, he lived in 15th century. So who wasn't there? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to defend him in any way, but the fact that he impaled people was not something like, oh my God, look what happened over there. People were cut to pieces. They were cutting genitalia, noses, or boiled to death. And this guy was impaling. So anyway, but if you put it in context, it's different. I mean, in the 20th century, people were still doing stupid and crazy things like, dropping atomic bombs over big cities, if you know what I mean. But anyway, let's go back to Prigozhin here, and let's see this article where he's asked about his similarities between him and Rasputin. So this article comes from Reuters. And it says, Russian Wagner boss acknowledges comparison with Rasputin. All right, so Russian mercenary boss Yevgeny Prigozhin responded to comparisons between himself and the monk Rasputin, who treated the son of the last Tsar for hemophilia, saying on Sunday his job was not to staunch bleeding, but to spill the blood of Russia's enemies. The Financial Times newspaper said at the weekend that Prigozhin had growing influence on the Kremlin and likened him to Orthodox monk Grigory Rasputin, who had considerable influence on the wife of Russia's last Tsar, Nikolai II. Prigozhin acknowledged only last September that he had founded the Wagner Group, which has played a major role in the Russian military attempts to capture territory in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. And I'm quoting Prigozhin. I am not very familiar with the history of Rasputin, but as far as I know, an important quality of Rasputin is that he staunched the blood flow of the young prince with incantations, with religious songs and so on, incantations. Prigozhin's press service quoted him as saying, referring to the article, and I'm quoting again, unfortunately, I do not staunch blood flow. I bleed the enemies of our motherland. and not by incantations, but by direct contact with them, end quote. Wagner has been deployed in a number of African countries, generally to combat insurgents. In recent months, Prigozhin has been seen in online videos trying to lure inmates from Russian prisons to join its ranks in Ukraine. And I would add, as a reward, they would have a clean criminal history and they will be released into the society again. Now, the Financial Times was not the first to compare his role to that of the monk in the Russian imperial court. A Russian journalist made the comparison last year. Well, I don't know what to say about the comparison. I don't see any comparison between the two. One is a businessman, the other one was a monk. The other one was a kind of monk. This guy is a kind of businessman. So, I mean, aside from a kind of, I don't know where the resemblance is. Because the rest is just different. And they were both men. And Russians. I don't know. I thought it was just funny that Prigozhin, this is not the second, I mean, that's the second. It's not the first time when I hear him coming back with some, I don't know, statements like this. The other one that was a little bit scarier, I think it was when he sent the hedge hammer, the sledge, not the hedge funds, not hedge funds, sledge hammer, when he sent a copy of the sledgehammer to the Council of Europe, I think. I think that was very, very eerie, because that was a direct threat. I mean, however you want to call it, I think that's the way it was. And unfortunately, I don't know how to take it. Unfortunately, it depends how you look at things. The free countries, free societies, let's put it this way, the politicians, the officials really are not really protected from harm. And that sledgehammer that was not sledgehammer that was sent by the Wagner Group to the Council of Europe, that's why I'm saying it's a scary thing, because if these guys are mercenaries and you guys are politicians over there. I remember when I was here in college in the United States of America, then Senator Carl Levin came into campus to speak to a group of people, and I was among those people in that group. So I remember how he came with his hands in his pockets, in pants pockets, that's how he walked from the car into the building. I saw him, came upstairs, came in the room, and stood up and spoke with us, answered questions, and he left. I didn't see any Secret Service, anybody around, and I looked for them, because I said, how in the hell a senator would show up like this? Now imagine that a Wagner, 3, 4, 5 guys around would be toast, and it's a senator. Now I don't know how much protection these guys have, the politicians in the West, but I suspect that I foresee that after this war, or even during this war in Ukraine, since there are so many weapons dispersed over there, these weapons would end up in other people's organized crime hands, and they will be able to do harm to a lot of organizations, people, and things will be, I think, only more violent than the Western Europe has seen. That's my prediction for that. Unfortunately, they will have not only the desire, I'm talking about the organized crime and bad people groups, they will have the means, and they will not have Uzis or pam or revolvers or BS like that. They will have juveniles and other stuff, drones. They're gonna have a lot of things. So if you as a politician say the wrong things, they're not gonna send a drive-by shooter or something like that. It's not good. It's not good. I don't like that. But I'm not in a position to be at the receiving end. but remember the sledgehammer. And this is Wagner Group. How are you going to hit the Wagner Group? If Putin is still around and Russia doesn't collapse, these guys will not be able to touch Wagner Group. They're going to send a drone from Pakistan to fly over to get in Russia and kill Prigozhin. And if you kill Prigozhin, do you think that things will be like, okay, my bad, we're done, let's go home and make babies? No, these are not that kind of people. But anyway, I think they will just, dealt with very bad organizations. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.